Fox coverage continues now with Rob Schmitt live in Savannah, Georgia. Has it gotten worse in the last hour there, Rob?
Yeah, John, it's getting worse and worse. I'm soaked to my core, as you can see. Over the last hour, we've seen the rain really intensify. It's just dumping rain at this point. We're getting the wind. It's about 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That's not that bad, but we are expecting this to get much worse. As you said off the top of the show, the storm, the eye of the storm, the really bad part, still about 70 miles away here from Savannah. Where I am is completely under a mandatory evacuation. Anywhere east of I-95, which is that highway that runs all the way along the East Coast from Boston to Miami, anywhere east of there, in this area, is under mandatory evacuations, and a lot of people have left this county in general, but Savannah is fairly empty at this time. A big concern is going to be the Barrier Islands, about 20 miles to my east, where Tybee Island is, where there are other islands. I think Wilmington Island's out there as well. And there are people we've heard about staying out there, so we're going to have to see how the night goes, but it's going to be a water event. This town can handle wind, can handle Category 2 hurricane wind. What we don't know whether or not it can handle is going to be so much rain, because what's going to happen is, if that eye does hit here regardless, when all of that surge comes in at the same time as the tide is up, as Garrett was just saying, we're expecting high tide around 2 o'clock in the morning. When that happens, what will be the situation? A lot of Savannah sits very low. Where I'm standing right now is less than 10 feet above sea level, and we could see where I'm standing become a complete river. It's already, you can see I'm standing in a lot of water. This is going to get a lot worse over the next 3 hours. It's going to be a wait-and-see game to see how all this times out, where that eye goes. It's been flirting with the coastline of the United States for the last 30 hours. We're going to see whether or not it hits here in Savannah, or if it moves a little bit further north and it gets Charleston, as Rick was alluding to earlier. That seems to be the line. It's going to be a wait-and-see game here in the next couple hours. John.
And you have to wonder about the wisdom of the folks who decided to remain out on the islands out there. I mean, a 10 or 12-foot storm surge is potentially deadly, could wash away structures. They are going to have real problems if they are in fairly low-lying structures out on those islands.
Yeah, well, John, Tybee Island could be completely underwater by the end of this. You don't know. We talked to the guy whose bar we're using to put the camera up, told us that he's got a couple of buddies on Tybee Island that decided to stick it out. They went against the orders. They said, we're going to stay here. And it's kind of like the boy that cried wolf, I mean, when you have so many close calls like Georgia has had over the last 50 or 100 years, there have been so many times when they thought they were going to get hit, and then it doesn't come because Georgia's kind of bent inward. Like you saw on the map, it's kind of protected. So you get everybody riled up, and then it doesn't happen. That happens enough. People stop, or they stop listening. They start ignoring a little bit. They get comfortable, and then one day it does happen, and you never know what that could lead to. So evacuations right now, they're saying 75% of this county, Chatham County, has evacuated. They say they're gone. I can tell you from walking around here, there's still a decent amount of people left in Savannah, even though it's a mandatory evacuation. I'd say most people are gone, and it looks like a ghost town, but you see people walking around. You see people doing what they do. Tybee Island, we know there's people there, too. That's where it could be really dangerous. That's right on the water. That could be completely underwater, and also the bridges that take you there and the roadways that take you there are going to be completely underwater. So if anything happens to somebody, you can't even get somebody out there. Emergency crews aren't going to be responding to those areas because they can't get out there.
Yeah, millions of people evacuated in Florida. If they go back and find their homes are relatively okay and just some broken tree branches, they might not evacuate in the next storm. And that's what always worries authorities, because these things can be killers. You just never know. A slightly different track on that hurricane eye, and there could be a lot of people in real trouble right now. Rob Schmitt joining us from Savannah.
That is exactly right.
Keep an eye on it for us there. Thanks.